Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Department and Agency Subcommittee. This morning, we do have two calendars. First up, we are going to take up the alcohol calendar. It's pretty short, so we will move through that one. And then we take up the other, the calendar after that, calendar 2, and we will have some housekeeping to do on that one before we get started into the agenda there. So members, make sure you're all logged in, and if you would open the board for roll call. Madam Clerk, take the roll.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 members present. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Are there any personal orders from the committee? Seeing none, we will move right into the alcohol calendar, and without objection, we are going to take up item number 2 first. That's House Bill 1803 by Representative McCallum. Do we have a motion? We have a motion and we have a second. Sir, you are recognized on your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, members. Members, I'll keep it short and sweet. House Bill 1803 simply allows distilleries to come together in a collaborative effort to blend their products together and sell them at their respective distilleries. With that, I stand ready for any questions y'all might have.
Do we have any questions? Representative Martin.
Thank you, Representative McAlpin. This bill, it allows distilleries to sell, I want to make sure, the product on site in its bottle shop that is distilled at a distillery, but they may have been blended somewhere else, but they're still going to be allowed to sell that in the place where they made the particular whiskey. Is that true?
Representative McCallum.
Representative Martin, yes, that is indeed true.
Right. Any other questions? Any objection to the question? Okay. Madam Clerk, if you would, open the board for voting. All in favor, vote aye. Any opposed, vote no. Anyone wishing to change their vote? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, if you would, announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 present not voting.
Thank you. Your bill moves to full committee.
Thank you, members in committee.
Next up, we go back to item number 1, but I do not see the sponsor in the room. With that, we will move. I'm going to pass the gavel over to Chairman Crawford. I have the next 2 bills to present.
All right, next on today's calendar is House Bill 1987 by Chairman Eldridge. Do I have a motion? Proper motion and second. Representative Eldridge, you are recognized on the bill.
Thank you, Chairman. This first bill on 1987 makes some changes to the current Alcoholic Beverage Commission. Currently, they receive about 35. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. We do have an amendment on that bill as well, Chairman.
Can you please give me your drafting code?
013324.
That is correct. Do I have a motion on the amendment? Proper motion. Is there a second? I'll second it. Chairman Eldridge, you're recognized on the amendment. Would you like for us to place that on the bill to be discussed?
If you would, please, Chairman.
All right, members, we're ready to place amendment number 13324 onto House Bill 1987. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Your bill's now amended. You're recognized on your amended bill.
Thank you, Chairman. Currently, the Alcohol Beverage Commission receives $35, and there's several changes with this bill. but they received $35 in a server permit application process. This money has been used to fund for computer systems and updated IT. This change would free up some much needed funds to increase public safety through our general operations, and that they do have a healthy balance in that fund. So that's the first section of the bill. Currently, state law restricts an ABC employees from having any family members who are employed by or own an ABC licensee. Today, over 10,000 businesses across the state have licenses. These include colleges and universities, museums, grocery stores, zoos, restaurants, UPS, FedEx, etc. We are having a hard time finding employees who don't have any relatives who work for a licensee. This bill would allow the director to hire someone who may have a nephew who works at a grocery store. Also, state law restricts the ABC employees from having any financial interest in alcohol businesses. However, many pension funds and 401ks are broadly invested in corporate restaurants of large manufacturing companies like Jack Daniels. This section clarifies that an ABC employee can invest in funds over which they have no control regarding what is purchased. Section 3 of this bill, each year golf courses are added to the omnibus bill to allow them to sell alcohol on their course. It creates winners and losers. This will allow all golf courses to be on an even playing field as to where they can serve alcohol. This will add golf courses to the list of entertainment activities currently in state law. ABC restaurants and hotels may designate as their premises. The list currently includes, but not limited to, bowling, billiards, games, auditoriums, darts, and golf driving ranges. And last, this came from Leader Johnson's office. Some local health departments are not allowing barber and cosmetology shops that have a valid ABC license to serve alcohol on site. The amendment reinforces the legislature's original intent and ensures local jurisdictions cannot impose additional structural or zoning requirements that effectively nullify the license the state created. And I've included the email. I think the email was included on Johnson's policy director. And Mr. Chairman, that is the explanation of House Bill 1987.
Committee, you've heard the explanation of House Bill 1987. Is there any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on moving House Bill 1987 on to local, state, full. All those in favor? Oh, no, we got to put this. Madam Chairman, Madam Clerk, will you please open the board for voting? Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 present not voting.
House Bill 1987 moves on to local full. At this time, I'm going to pass the gavel back to the chairman. I seen Chairman Hicks come in, and he's got lots of work to do, so we're going to go ahead and take him up next.
All right, we will go back to item number 1 by Chairman Hicks. Do we have a motion? We have a motion and a second. Chairman Hicks, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I do have an amendment that I need to put on, but I think Representative Miller has an amendment. So
If you would like I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you have an amendment that's coded 013127 that will be withdrawn. Is that correct?
that is correct.
Okay, without objection, amendment number 1 is withdrawn. Second amendment by Representative Miller. We're going to move this amendment to the Hill, and brings us to amendment number 3 by Representative Hicks. And Representative Hicks, would you give me the drafting code on that one, please, sir?
Yes, sir. That should be 013490.
Motion on the amendment.
That's correct. We have a motion. Do we have a second? We have a second. Would you like for, it does rewrite the bill, so
does.
we'll
It
go
does
ahead
rewrite.
and,
Thank you.
and if we would, let's vote to add this amendment to the bill. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? You are on your bill as amended.
All right, thank you. And in short, this bill will let Tennessee licensed manufacturers sell their own imported tequila brands on site under the same framework as products they currently produce in Tennessee.
Okay, we've heard the explanation, and I believe we'll move back to Miller. At this time, we're going to move to the hill of the calendar, and Representative Miller, you're recognized, and if you would give us the drafting code on your amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That is 013468.
Okay, and that's correct. And do we have a motion on the amendment?
Give me a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second. And Representative Miller, would you explain your amendment, please, sir?
Basically, it's deleting section 3 and renumbering the remaining sections accordingly.
Okay. Are there any questions for Representative Miller? Seeing none, all in favor of adding amendment number 2 to the bill, please say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The amendment is added to the bill, and Chairman, we're back to you.
All right, now describe the bill and I'll answer any questions you may have.
Any questions? We have okay, I believe we do have some testimony on this bill. Is Nathan Edwards? Ethan Edwards, I'm sorry. Are you in the room? Apparently not. So, Chairman, we're back to, Chairman Crawford.
I make a motion to call the question.
Motion has been made to call question. Any objections to the question? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, open up the voting board, please. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? And at this time, Madam Clerk, if you would, announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 present not voting.
Chairman Hicks, you move on to full.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee.
Thank you. And we will pass the gavel back to Chairman Crawford at this time.
Next item on today's agenda is House Bill 1652. Do I have a motion? Motion. Proper motion and second. I do see we have an amendment on this bill. Can you please give us your drafting code?
There are a number of amendments on this one. This is the omnibus bill. And Chairman, there was a total of 26 amendments filed, but there was a couple of them had technical errors. So we will be adopting 24 amendments today. And I'll be glad to go over the amendments and, or we can move to roll them all into one amendment, however you want to handle it, sir.
If I'm not mistaken, I think we have to vote on these individually.
Individually, okay.
So let's just start with the first one and we'll
Okay.
place them all on the bill and then you can discuss the bill.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion on the First Amendment? Proper motion and second.
Okay,
We are now voting on Amendment 012124. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. On the bill. Item number 2, Amendment 011883. Got a proper motion and second? Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 11883. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Bill's now amended. Okay, amendment number 3 is 01290. Do I have a motion? Proper motion and second. Any questions on the amendment? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 12908 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The amendment is now on the bill. Item number 4. Amendment number 012285. I have a proper motion and second. Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 012285 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Now on the bill. Item number 5, Amendment 012836. Proper motion, is there a second? Proper motion and second. Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 12836 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Bill, it's now on the bill. Amendment number 6, 011928. Do I have a motion? Proper motion and second. Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 11928 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. Amendment goes on the bill. Item number 7, Amendment 11126. Got a proper motion and a second. Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to place Amendment 11126 on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Amendment's now on the bill. Item number 8, Amendment 11262. Proper motion, is there a second? Proper motion and second. We're ready to vote. Any questions? We're ready to vote on Amendment 11262 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. It's on the bill. Amendment 011340. Do I have a motion? Proper motion. Is there a second? Got a proper second. Any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on item number 9, House Amendment 11340. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. It's now on the bill. Item 10, Amendment number 13040. Proper motion. Is there a second? Proper motion and second. Any questions? Okay. We're ready to vote on Amendment 13040 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. It's on the bill. Item 11, Amendment 11855. Proper motion and second. Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment number 11855 going on the bill. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. It's on the bill. Item 12, Amendment number 12997. Proper motion, second. Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 12997 going on the bill. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. It's on the bill. Item 13, Amendment number 12932. Do I have a motion? Proper motion and second. Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 12932 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. It's on the bill. Amendment number 12195. Need a motion? Proper motion. Is there a second? Properly seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 12195 going on the bill. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. It's now on the bill. Amendment number 12890. Proper motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Properly seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 12890 going on the bill. All in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. Ayes have it. Goes on the bill. Amendment 1293, no, 12913.
Motion.
Proper motion. Is there a second? We got a proper second. Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 12913 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. It's on the bill. Amendment 11685.
Motion.
Got a proper motion and second. Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on 11685 going on the bill. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. It's on the bill.
Ooh, that's official. Say chairman.
No. Amendment 1320. Do I have a motion?
207.
13207.
Okay. I must have skipped over one or something. The amendment number is 13207.
Motion.
Proper motion and second. Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 013207 going on the bill. Please say aye. Opposed, no. It's now on the bill. Amendment 13224.
Motion.
Proper motion. Is there a second? Second. Any questions?
Wake up down there. Miller and I are doing all.
Seeing none, we're ready to vote on 13224. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It's on the bill. Amendment number 13204. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Proper motion. Properly seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, we're now ready to vote on 13204 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. It's on the bill. Amendment number 13205.
Motion.
Proper motion. I need a second. Seconding. Any discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 13205 going on the bill. All in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. It's on the bill. Amendment number 13359.
Motion.
Proper motion. Did I second? Any discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 13359 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. It's on the bill. Amendment number 013370. Proper motion, seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 13370 going on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. It's on the bill. Amendment 13373. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Proper motion, seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, we're ready to vote on Amendment 13373. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, no. It's on the bill. Give me 1 second here. All right. Without objection, we will roll these amendments into a single amendment. Any problem with that? Okay, we will ask that they be rolled together. All those in favor of rolling the amendments into one, say aye. Those opposed, no. It's all rolled into one now.
Okay, now we're voting on it. Questions and voting.
Any questions on the rolling of the amendments into one? We're ready to vote on the bill. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no.
Oh, we gotta do it on the keyboard.
Okay. Madam Clerk, open the board for voting. Has every member voted? Does any member wish to change their vote? Madam Clerk, close the board and announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 present not voting.
Bill passes, moves on to full committee.
Thank you, Chairman.
All right. I will now pass the gavel back to the chairman.
All right, members, we want to go back to item number 1, House Bill 200, and without objection, we will be rolling the amendments, the two amendments, 13490 and 13468. They will be rolled together on the bill without objection. And that concludes the alcohol calendar, and we will move to the second calendar. And we'll do a little bit of housekeeping here. We have item number 10. Oh, excuse me. That's wrong. Excuse me. Okay, item number 6, House Bill 2220. It will be rolled to the next available calendar. That's 2 weeks. That will be in 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. Also, item number 9, HJR 794, will be rolled as well to the next available calendar, which will be in 2 weeks. Item number 12, House Bill 2143, will be rolled to the next available calendar again, and that's in 2 weeks. And item number 13, House Bill 1961, is also rolled to the next available calendar in 2 weeks. So that gets those items cleared. And we will move to item number 1, House Bill 1628. We have a motion and a second, and Representative Capley, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, committee. I want to be respectful of your time. This bill is very simple. It makes several changes to the oversight and funding of the regional tourism promotion. It requires the Department of Tourism Development to annually confirm the regional tourism organizations for each of the 9 regional development districts. That's what the bill does.
You've heard an explanation, committee. Is there any questions? Seeing none. Any objection to the question? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, if you would, open the board for voting. All in favor, vote aye. Any opposed, vote no. Anyone wishing to change their vote? Madam Clerk, if you would, announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 present not voting.
Representative Capley, you're moving on to full.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, committee.
Thank you. Next item up is item number 2 is House Bill 2546. We are waiting on you.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have a motion and a second? Chairman Vaughn, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, sir. I'm proud to be here today presenting this bill on behalf of the administration. It deals with the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame, makes some updates to the 2019 Act where the board was reconstituted. They went through a recent comptroller's audit, and one of the findings was that they recommended that we do some legislative changes to detail more of how the Sports Hall of Fame operates. And it must say that the audit that they had in 2025 had no fiscal mismanagement or anything like that. They just recommended that we do some legislative changes And that's what's conducted in this bill here today.
All right, we've heard the explanation. Is there any questions for the sponsor? All right, Chairman Powers.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Sponsor. Do you know if I have been included in this Sports Hall of Fame, Tennessee?
Chairman Vaughn.
No, sir. This is my bill. I'm actually entering myself into the Tennessee State Sports Hall of Fame. You can run a revision next year.
Thank you. Any further questions? Chairman Crawford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sponsor, the executive committee that you're putting together here, this won't have any effect on the state's sports authority, correct?
Chairman Vaughn. Chairman Vaughn.
Pardon me, Mr. Chairman. No, sir, it does not.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Seeing none, any objection to the question? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, if you would, open the board for voting. All in favor, vote aye. Any opposed, vote no. Anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, would you announce the vote?
Mr. Chair, you have 8 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 present not voting.
Chairman Vaughn, you move on to full committee. Thank you. Next up, we have item number 3, House Bill 1839. We have a motion, we have a second, and Chairman Haston, you're ready to present your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll give you a quick description of the issue and then a brief description of what the bill does. Currently, inmates who are excelling in local work release reentry programs are being removed from these local jail work programs when pulled into state custody. These work release reentry programs utilize state grant funds like EBGs, local private business funds, and faith-based community investments as well, meaning that when these reentry program participants are removed from our local jails, it is undercutting significant state and local investments. What this bill does is it puts in protections to keep in place those who are successfully participating in work release reentry programs, which of course decreases recidivism rates and protects our state and local investments. And I stand for any questions, and I'm at the mercy of the chairman of the committee, but I do think we had someone down to also testify on this today.
Okay. Do we? Okay. Without objection, we'll go out of session to hear from Mr. Joe Wood. We are out of session. Mr. Wood, if you would. If you would, she'll turn your mic on, and if you would, just tell us who you are and if you represent anyone in particular, and then you've got 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're ready. Yes, sir.
Thank you for your time and opportunity to speak. My name's Joe Wood. I work with the reentry program in Henderson County Sheriff's Department and with Dwayne's Medal with the REAP program. Former educator, administrator, lifelong. Worked there with the coordinating the programs. Just a couple of facts, and then with the remaining time, share a couple of personal stories with the individuals that have been impacted. We have, with the help of a great investment by the state through the evidence-based grants, we have received nearly about $1.6 million since 2021. And also, one of those big factors of recidivism, with those help and about $1 million through housing reinvestment with a private partnership, been able to reduce recidivism in Henderson County from 87% to 44%. And that's been significant. Fines and fees we found was a huge barrier when individuals got out. So also through these programs, through the recidivism, we've been able to generate nearly $900,000 have gone back in the local community, fines, fees, child support that stays local. When individuals that are with TDOC that are state inmates housed in county jails, those individuals can come, they just taken maybe just at no notice. As a teacher, I still teach in the programs. We had a couple of individuals. One had paid off all fines and fees and had nearly $30,000 ready to spend, was a native because most of the individuals are from the community. Got sent to a state correctional facility, makes 25 cents an hour as a cook with no programs. I got another individual, had about 8,000 that went when he did. Just recently, a couple of weeks ago, I had a young man who was in a financial literacy program, was his last session. He had the community bank, was opening up an account. He was taken, was not able to finish his last time, lost a chance to have a bank account and a lost income. That not only on the work release, I've taught adult ed, you'll have individuals that are past 3 exams, the high set, and they're ready to pass the last one. You look in class and they're gone. So those have a definitely human impact, and the considerations for any considerations given is greatly appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wood. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Committee, is there any questions for? Okay, we do. Chair Lady Carringer.
Mr. Wood, I just wanted to say thank you for coming today and very much support these programs and all. I represent Knox County, and we have a golf course there in Knox County, and our prison is right there. So we had a workforce there that they could work and learn a lot of things on the golf course and keeping the grounds. And for every day they worked, they got 2 days off of their prison time and all. So I appreciate you coming, and I believe that this is something really important that our state and our communities need to support. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, Mr. Wood, thank you for being here. And again, thank you for what you do there. And we will go back into session and hear from Chairman Haston.
Thank you. I'll just renew my motion and open up for any questions.
Okay, we do have question, Chairman Martin.
Chairman Hastings, my only question, I love what you're trying to do here. I get it. But is this shifting the cost at all from local government to state government or vice versa, or is this neutral?
Chairman Haston.
The fiscal note is not significant. This is not going to change anything with any financing at all. This is just making sure that what's happening currently is these programs are bringing in grant funds. They're having private businesses invest a lot of money into training these workers that we're hoping will go into the community. And then towards the end of the finish line, a lot of these workers are getting pulled out of the program. And so what that's doing, the negative effect that that's having is that it's hurting the recruiting process because a lot of people are seeing that, well, do I want to invest this, into this? And then at the end of the line, I'm not going to be able to complete it because I'm getting pulled out. But as far as it's not shifting any kind of, financial burden or responsibility one way or the other.
Thank you. Any further questions? Any objection to the question? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you would, open the board. All in favor, vote aye. Any opposed, vote no. Anyone wish to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you would, announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 present not voting.
Chairman Haston, move on to full.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee.
Next item up is item number 4. It's House Bill 674 by Representative Love. We have a motion. We have a second. Representative Love, you are ready to present your bill, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think there's an amendment traveling with
Yes,
the bill.
there is. I just saw that. Would you give me the drafting code, please?
013018.
That is correct. Would you like to add this to the
Yes, sir.
bill to discuss? We need a motion we have a motion. We have a second on the amendment. All in favor of adding the amendment drafting code 013018 to House Bill 674, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The amendment goes on the bill, and Representative Love, you're recognized on your bill as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. We know that when we're talking about persons who are incarcerated, one of the things that can help them in the process is having family visitation. The difficulty oftentimes, however, is that the person may be in a facility that is far away from home. And many of us may have had calls from constituents about trying to get their family member moved close to them. This bill simply asks the Department of Corrections to study the impact of fostering connections between incarcerated persons and their families to reduce recidivism, including whether regular visitation from family members to an incarcerated person lowers the likelihood of that person reoffending, the cost to families of incarcerated persons to visit family members and loved ones who are incarcerated at distances to facilities, and also the parameters of programs in other states that authorize a qualified incarcerated person to be transferred to a facility close to the person's family, including programs, eligibility requirements, costs to the respective states or local governments, reduction in travel costs to family members of incarcerated persons, and success in reducing reincarceration and other positive outcomes. I've been in conversation with the Department of Corrections, spoke to the commissioner this morning also about this amendment.
Okay, and all was good with the amendment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we've heard an explanation of the bill, and we do have question. Chairman Crawford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just got one question, just to get it on the record, basically, but this is a permissive bill. It is not making any of our correctional facilities to have to do this. It's their option.
Representative Love.
Well, it is requiring them to produce the study.
For each individual, I mean, it's permissive. They don't, if one of our facilities don't want to participate, does it make them participate?
Representative Love.
I would say that it's up to the department, I believe. The department is trying to get an assessment of what would be involved in getting incarcerated persons transfer. And I think that would be up to the department. If facility says no, then the commissioner, I think, would probably produce the report without that particular facility involved in it.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our list, we have Chairman Martin.
Thank you, Representative Love, and I love what you're trying to do here. I can appreciate it. But I do have a question about down in the bill 4151-406, paragraph D, where the words says the details of any arrangement or duration of good behavior agreed upon between an eligible incarcerated person, and then here's my question, and the unit staff at the eligible incarcerated person's correctional facility. So my question is, yes, sir?
The amendment, I'm sorry,
No, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
No, sir. This is on the bill.
On the bill. It's on the bill as amended.
So the amendment, though, rewrites the bill, I thought.
Yeah, it does.
Then I withdraw.
Sorry for interrupting.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page with.
Chairman Martin.
The last thing I want to be is on the different page with Love.
All right. Is there any other questions for is there any objection to the question? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you would, open the board for voting. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, vote no. And does every member voted? Anyone wishing to change their vote? And seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you would announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 8 ayes, 0 noes, and 0 present not voting.
Representative Love, you're moving out to full.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have item number 5, which is House Bill 1446. We have a motion. We have a second. Chairman Todd, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We do have an amendment on this bill.
Yes, sir.
Addressing code 12862.
That is correct. We have a motion and a second on the amendment to add it to the bill. All in favor of adopting House Amendment number 1, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. You're on your bill as amended. You are recognized, Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate the opportunity. This legislation standardizes terminology in Tennessee state government materials by requiring the use of historically accurate terms, Judea and Samaria, instead of a political term, West Bank. And there's a lot of whereases and information here that's provided, very factual information. But for over 3,000 years, these areas have been known as Judea and Samaria. There was literally a 19-year period when Jordan invaded that area and took over, where it was referred to as the West Bank of Jordan. And so I think it's a politically charged, a very negative politically charged comment to say West Bank when it was Judea and Samaria for all of those many years, over 3,000 years. So with that, I would stand for questions, and I certainly note that there's a person here from the public that wishes to testify, as you already, I think, are aware.
That is correct. Thank you for that explanation. And without objection, we will go out of session to hear from Jason Rappert. Are you in the room, sir? All right. We are out of session, and if you would just take a seat, and they'll turn your mic on right there in a minute. And if you would just state your name and who you're with, and you've got 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. My name is Jason Rapert. I formerly served in the Arkansas State Senate for 12 years. I was president of the National Council of Insurance Legislators. I've been honored to lead as president of the National Association of Christian Lawmakers, and that's my capacity today. We have members that are local, state, and federal elected officials across the entire United States, all 50 states. We have members here in the Tennessee legislature as well. And our body actually adopted the Judea-Samaria Act as a national model in June of 2025. Representative Mindy McAlinden of the state of Arkansas actually passed the first bill like this in spring of 2025, and it was signed into law. And there are 15 states across the United States right now that are taking up this legislation. I'm not going to try to state all of the findings that you had in your original bill, but what I will bring is a couple of things that are important to consider. In 1947, in the original UN partition plan, the United Nations actually in Resolution 181 explicitly recognized the region as the hill country of Samaria and Judea when attempting to draw the lines. The term West Bank was literally gotten out of thin air during the partition when Jordan tried to take that for 19 years. And so names are very, very important. In terms of the security of the state of Israel and this area that we're talking about, Judea, Samaria is where, by the way, 80% of the Bible stories that we read occurred in Judea, Samaria. So they consist of the central mountain ridge, control of this high ground. It's vital.
Folks, I know y'all, there's a lot of passion on some of these issues, but we're not going to have any outbursts like that. Yes, ma'am, you did. Sir, you can continue.
That's right. I'll clip my remarks to say to you that in terms of this area, I was just there in November of last year, and I went to an area which is known as Joshua's altar. And many of you know that this is the place where Joshua, when he brought the Hebrew children out of Egypt, actually walked in over the River Jordan and literally built an altar in this place. It's the Plymouth Rock of Israel. And so Judea and Samaria, in our opinion, it's important to refer to the name. Can you imagine somebody wanting to not call Tennessee, Tennessee? This is a place that for over 3,000 years has been widely noticed and recognized as Judea, Samaria. And we believe it's important for the United States and our state governments that deal with many interests related to the nation and state of Israel that we refer to it as its proper name.
All right. Is there any questions for our guest? Representative Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a question. Who would be opposed to this? Removing West Bank from language from State Department?
Well, I never try to speak for other people, but typically what we've seen is folks that support Hamas generally do oppose calling Judea Samaria.
Folks, I'm not going to tolerate outbursts in here.
Thank you, sir. The next question, what is the position of the United States government in reference to West Bank?
Well, that also would be a loaded question, right? It depends on who you talk to and what particular side of that equation they fall on. But what I can tell you is that 15 states now see reason to stand up and try to declare that we're going to officially refer to this as Judea Samaria. Many of our states, as you know, are taking actions related to China. They're taking actions related to many different foreign governments that our states deal with in an economic development capacity. And Judea Samaria, when referred to historically as it should be, is a position that we think is important. We oppose anti-Semitism. The NACI has a standing committee that opposes that, and we believe it's important that we support the state of Israel in this regard.
All right, Representative Miller.
Thank you. The question was, has the United States government taken a position on the West Bank? For an example, the Secretary of our country, Rubio,
Right?
would he advocate removing West Bank from United States government?
I'm not aware that he's had a declared position on this.
Sir, I need to recognize you first, okay? All right. So you are recognized.
I apologize, Mr. Chair. I was one of the members. In answer to your question, Representative Miller, I'm not aware that there's been a recent statement, but I can tell you that there's been a bill filed in the United States Congress to actually do exactly what this bill is recommending that you do here today. Yes, sir.
Very good. All right, next on our list, we have Representative Chisholm. I believe you wanted to speak.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess my question, because I guess I'm not as smart as some other people, so I guess my question is this bill is strictly over naming rights? Does it touch any other parts?
Yes, yes, sir. You're recognized. Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Chisholm, it simply states that definitely because of what we've seen going on in the Middle East over the years, we find it is productive to actually refer to this area. There are over 500,000 Israeli citizens that live in this area already. This is an area that was, as you know, was conflict with Jordan for 19 years. They've created what's called an A area, B area, and C areas there. And Israel has control over the C area. Palestinians have control over the A area. The B area is a joint control. But this literally is Judea Samaria. And most all of us here definitely know, even in the Great Commission, we're to go out and make disciples, including Judea and Samaria. So this is an area that has been referred to historically. And I will just tell you, Representative, when you stand there at Joshua's altar and realize that that's the Plymouth Rock of Israel, why would anybody ever argue that Plymouth Rock in the United States of America is not a place that should be named appropriately and controlled by America? We believe the same issue pertains to Judea Samaria. We should call it by its proper name.
Representative Chisholm.
So I'm trying not to get in the weeds here, but so this is really about naming rights for something that's in another country. So, well, I'm not trying to be funny, but I guess I'm wondering who benefits from a piece of legislation like this?
Well, I think it's beneficial in the entire, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. You're recognized,
Okay.
sir.
I will make sure I'm going by protocol for you. So in the entire world, 0.2% of the world population are Jewish population. And we have seen in the last year and a half, even in the United States of America, tremendous and awful anti-Semitism that's flared up. We believe that it's important for legislators, all of the state legislators in the United States, as well as our federal delegation, to do our best to, if you will, oppose anti-Semitism and those that would try to rename and get people to forget. And so we believe that it's important that we not use a term that was literally pulled out of the thin air during the Jordanian conflict, which is the West Bank, and actually refer to Judea Samaria as it historically has been recognized and do our part in that.
Representative Chisholm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on our list, we have Chairman Powers. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. One quick question, I guess, before we start. The signs, are they being held above their head? Is that, aren't they correctly supposed to be at their head level or below, please?
They are to be at head level, please, y'all.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for being here today. I've been through the area that you're talking about, and I appreciate what you're doing, and I agree. Biblically speaking, everything, the word Judea and Samaria, and they need to be recognized that way. So I appreciate it. And I've been a member of NCOA for 15 years now too. So I appreciate your service on there. I guess the only question I do have is, going through West Bank and having that area, is this bill going to affect anything that we do as far as our relationship with Israel and how we're dealing with them? Will this have any impact on that?
Sir, you're recognized, sir.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. So what we find is that definitely there's great support, obviously, within the state of Israel and even within the American Jewish population to recognize and properly allow that name to be utilized. When you go like you've done and when you've been there and you see people who live there for generations and they're trying to rename an area and basically isolate them and cut them off by calling it by something that nobody really recognizes. And so we think it's important. I think when you all think about the importance of our own names and what we call people, how we refer to people, it's important that we utilize a proper historic name for that.
Chairman Powers.
Thank you for being here. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all.
We do have, we'll go back to Representative Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had the I guess, honor, the pleasure last year of visiting Jerusalem, Tel Aviv by the Israeli government. Had a chance to listen and speak with Netanyahu, as well as former Governor Huckabee. It was breathtaking, a great experience. I loved it. Going to the Wailing Wall, going to where Jesus walked, and you name it all. We even took a trip to a portion of where Hamas attacked the country of Israel. Again, breathtaking. So much to take in. I asked you a question, and who would be opposed to renaming the West Bank? And you said Hamas. Not one time did I hear coming from the Israeli President Netanyahu or our ambassador or anyone for that matter say we need to change this name. My whole thing was I was listening for how do we get peace? How do we get there? How do we get there? They are struggling, and they've been struggling for decades. Anytime we as Americans who support Israel, I support them, want to antagonize a very, very delicate issue, I question if we're doing the right thing. Think about that. Think about that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, if you would, you're recognized.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I do appreciate you mentioning Ambassador Mike Huckabee. He was the first member of the NACL's advisory board when we started this entity, and we briefed with him when we were there and actually spoke at the Knesset. And to get directly to your mention, I'm glad that you took that tour. I've been there to the Nova Music Festival site and stood there, had my daughter there, and it's terrible what happened in that area. But I will tell you to directly answer your question, Governor Yossi Dagan is the governor of one of the 6 regional councils there in Judea Samaria. It's called the Sharon Regional Council. They use the term governor because it's the best way to describe that situation for us. And also Governor Israel Gantz of an area called the Benjamin Council there. They definitely, Representative Miller, are supportive of the recognition of Judea Samaria. In fact, just a few weeks ago, the Knesset did vote and brought up the idea of Judea Samaria. And just recently, in the last few days, they've taken action which allows for better recognition of land ownership in the region of Judea Samaria. So it has been spoken to as recently as the last few
On the
weeks.
signs, at head level. Ma'am, I'm going to ask you to step out. Yes, ma'am. You're welcome to leave. You're welcome to leave.
It's okay to change your mind.
If anyone else would like to leave, I will be glad to accommodate you.
How does this help Tennessee? Thank you.
All right, sir. If you would. You're recognized.
Mr. Chairman, just Representative Miller, I think I'd gotten close to the end of my comments there, and that is that definitely so Governor Yossi Dagan, Governor Israel Gantz, and I would say the majority, if not all of the others that live in the area of that Judea Samaria. And again, you haven't been there, Jerusalem, the Galilee area, Tel Aviv. Once you cross over what they have termed the Green Line into Judea Samaria, you start realizing, so Shiloh, Tennessee is another example of an area that was named after Shiloh, which is the area of the tabernacle that was put up for 369 years. The Ark of the Covenant was there in what they call Shiloh, which is we speak of it as Shiloh. That is in Judea Samaria. And then again, for me, what really took my breath away, Representative Miller, was Joshua's altar. And even those that oppose maybe politically the issues of Israel as opposed to Arabs, et cetera, they say that this is definitely Joshua's altar. It's the only thing it could be. And so again, when you're standing there at what is basically the Plymouth Rock of Israel, you realize, my goodness, how could anybody accept that we would use this name that has nothing to do with the area historically? So I believe that for the state of Tennessee and the 15 other states that are dealing with it now in the United States, us taking a step to recognize that in our official documents is an important matter.
Without objection, we're going to go back into session. We're going to be running up on the clock here. So we are back in session. Sir, appreciate you being here. And sponsor, you're recognized on your bill.
Thank you, sir. And I appreciate the questions and comments when we were out of session. And it is important. And it's not really naming rights. We're not renaming anything. We're just recognizing in our documents, in our public documents, and I don't know of any references today necessarily, but in the future, I want to make sure that we don't use terms that are politically motivated instead of historically accurate. And that's really all this is about. So I appreciate your consideration.
Chairman Crawford.
Move previous question.
Previous question has been called. No objection to the question. Madam Clerk, if you would open the board for voting. All members in favor, vote aye. Any opposed, vote no. And anyone wishing to change their vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, if you would announce the vote.
Chair, you have 6 ayes, 1 no, and 1 present not voting.
Thank you. You're moving out of full committee. Or moving to full. Crawford, I believe you wish to be recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we take up House Bill 2219.
Is there any objection to the motion? Seeing none, we are on Item number 10, House Bill 2219. Chairman Garrett, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do believe I have an amendment.
Oh, we do need a motion and a second, please. We have a motion, we have a second. You're properly before us, and yes, you do have an amendment. Would you care to give us that drafting code?
Not at all. 13154.
I believe that is correct. We need a motion and a second. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second on the amendment. All in favor of adding the amendment to the bill, say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. You have your bill as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 2219 as amended provides for local law enforcement to cooperate with our federal folks under the 287G program to make sure that we keep our locals safe. The communities that fail to enforce and enter into an agreement with under the 287G program, if they do not do that, they could lose their shared state tax withholding. So current law says that the sheriff's department across the state do not have to comply with 287G in order to make sure our communities are safe. And this piece of legislation will mandate that to make sure that our communities are safe, that our local, state, and federal governments cooperate together to make sure our communities are the safest communities that we can provide for our constituents across the state of Tennessee. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll be glad to take any questions that we may have on House Bill 2219 as amended.
All right, we've heard the explanation of the bill. Is there any questions for the sponsor? With this, it's on the bill as amended. It rewrites the bill. And we do have questions, Chairman Martin.
Thank you. Chairman, my question is this. When it says the chief law enforcement officer of each local law enforcement agency of this state, would that include like on college campuses, different law enforcement agencies?
My understanding is.
Chairman.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
You're fine, Chairman. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's been a minute. My understanding is it's the local law enforcement agency of that city or that county.
But
Chairman Martin.
But not necessarily on a college campus that has their own police force or campus security?
Chairman.
I would believe they're under the same requirements to make sure they cooperate, to make sure that any issues that relate to the enforcement of the 287G program, that they would apply as well.
Okay. Next on our list, we have Representative Chisholm. You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess my question is about our law enforcement. Do our local law enforcement, the state law enforcement, have the resources to enforce this federal mandate?
Chairman Garrett.
It's my understanding that they will under this piece of legislation because there are over 11,000 reasons why we need to combat what's been happening. Those 11,344 crimes that have been committed by those that aren't supposed to be here are illegal aliens that have created over half the crimes that took place in 2025. So it's paramount that we cooperate both from the federal, state, and local level to make sure we ensure the safety of everybody in this state, especially those crimes that are committed by folks that aren't supposed to be here.
Representative Chisholm.
Okay. I guess I'm a little confused because the fiscal note says no, not significant. So this sounds like something that would have a fiscal note. So how were we able to read of the fiscal note?
Chairman Garrett.
You would have to talk to fiscal about what the fiscal note says, and that'll be something that we'll talk about once we get to finance, if there is a fiscal note impact of what this piece of legislation will provide.
Any further questions? Any further questions? Representative Miller.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you were explaining your bill, could you summarize that again? Especially, I thought I heard you say that if a local government doesn't adhere to the language of this bill, they could be penalized financially. Did I understand that correctly?
Chairman Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Absolutely. If they don't cooperate under this federal program to make sure that we continue to make our citizens safe from folks that aren't supposed to be here anyway, they certainly could be subject under the piece of legislation to lose their shared tax savings. So we want to make sure that every city, including the one that we're standing in, does not institute sanctuary city policies to make sure we welcome those that aren't supposed to be here that are wreaking havoc on our citizens. Over half of the crimes committed in the state last year were committed by those folks that aren't supposed to be here, that are committed by illegal aliens that are in this state. Over half the crimes in 2025.
No more. Thank you, ma'am. Chairman Garrett.
I would say, where is the 41 folks that were killed? Where are the 11 folks that children were raped by folks that aren't supposed to be here? What about the ones that have
Listen, folks.
2,000?
That's all right.
You do nothing to make us safe. You are a danger. You are the problem. This whole legislative body is nothing.
I want to say this to the rest of the people remaining in this room. No more outbursts, or the room will be cleared. Is that understood? Chairman Garrett.
Thank you. I would say, where is it to the victims that we owe to make sure our state is the safest state in this country? It's paramount on us to make sure our local, our state, and our federal agencies work together to make sure we provide the safest communities that our people can live in. And we're simply falling short of that by not cooperating with law enforcement, with this whole movement that we should defund the police. We've created something that says they're the bad guy when they are ones that actually are charged with making sure we provide safe communities. And this, what this piece of legislation is set to accomplish.
Thank you. And Representative Chisholm. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. Representative Miller.
I asked you one question. Thanks for the speech. But just, no, you really didn't answer it. So you are willing to punish, United States citizens in Tennessee based on what their elected officials may not do. You're willing to punish Tennesseans in any county in this state that doesn't adhere to this because their elected official, their mayor or their legislators decided for whatever reason not to dot the I or cross the T, but you're willing to punish them. That's absolutely amazing to me that you're willing to go this far to hurt Tennesseans in this state.
Chairman Garrett.
Law enforcement, Mr. Chair. He had his speech, I'd like to make mine.
Okay, Representative Miller.
This bill is not necessary if you're talking about punishing our citizens, my constituency. Because my constituent would not have anything to do with if in fact this bill passes and the governor signs it, and it gets to the point that my city, my county is penalized. You want to withhold. You want to withhold their taxes that they are paid into. Just the thought of this is not morally correct. It's not morally correct. You're so opposed to these immigrants that you've named by the thousands, and there's no proof. You have no proof. 11,000 crimes have been committed in the state of Tennessee. That's BS. Thank you, Mr.
Okay. All right, Chairman Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and that was an elegant speech given by my friend from Shelby County with Shelby County and what's happened over the past couple of years with that county, that city cooperating with the President Trump's administration on how they have found over hundreds of missing children. Crime is nearly next to nothing. So it's an overwhelming amount of support from the state of Tennessee that wants communities to be safe. They don't want their cities, their elected officials to defy state law, to defy local law, to defy federal law. They want their counties, they want their cities, they want this state to make sure we are a law and order state to provide for that safety for our communities. There is overwhelming support by Tennesseans for a piece of legislation that like this to make sure that our communities are safe, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Next, we have back on the list is Representative Chisholm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I heard you say that over 50% of crime was committed by these immigrants or aliens. Where do we get those stats from?
Chairman Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. They are from our own agencies, from the own places, people that are arresting these folks and ascertaining their status. In fact, the ones from the number is probably much higher because we don't have all the reporting from Davidson County and Shelby County. So this number, 21,648 total crimes in the state that we know of, over 11,344 of them have been created by illegal aliens. This isn't U.S. citizens. This isn't Tennesseans. These are folks that aren't supposed to be here already.
Representative Chisholm.
Because from my understanding, there was a report from, I believe, the DAs. I could be wrong, that it was more like 11% instead of 50. So I'm trying to. So that seems kind of high. It seems kind of exaggerated, if you will. And I want to go to a statement we mentioned about our law enforcement being the villains, or people wanting to defund the police. I'm sure no one on this body wants to defund the police because we need our officers to keep us safe. However, when we force their hand to enforce things like this, we make them villains. So, and our law enforcement, they're doing a wonderful job and they're doing their job. However, I think when we put them into things like this, we put them in a real awkward situation, especially considering that they have so much on their plate to keep Tennesseans safe from other Tennesseans. And so I think we're flirting with overreaching. And of course, you and I, we agree on some bills we don't. But I think with this one, I think we're vastly overreaching. I think we could end up getting into a place where things are discriminatory. Or I'm making up a word there, but I think we are getting to a point where, again, we're overreaching.
Chairman Garrett.
I'm good.
You good? Okay. Chairman Crawford, I believe you. Previous question has been called. Any objection to the question? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, if you would, open the board for voting. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? No. And anyone wishing to change their vote? Madam Clerk, if you would, announce the vote.
Mr. Chair, you have 6 ayes, 2 noes, and 0 present not voting.
Chairman Garrett, you move on to full committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee.
Thank you. Next item we have up is item number 11, House Bill 1711. We have a motion. We have a second. We have a second. And Chair Lady, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to make sure that
that we have the amendment on the bill.
Okay.
So I have drafting code 013297.
That is correct, and it does rewrite the bill, I believe.
It adds to it.
Okay, so if we need a motion, we need a second on the amendment. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of adding the amendment to the bill, please say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. We are on your bill now as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, committee. And so this piece of legislation is part of some other pieces of legislation that you've just heard, and it works in coordination. It helps to mandate monthly, quarterly, and annual reporting. So between state agencies, law enforcement, and our federal partners. This allows for an active law enforcement pipeline and penalize failure to report violations. Tennessee lacks a comprehensive accounting system, and so we don't know the fiscal impact of illegal immigration. We have to make those decisions. In fact, we're having, finance meetings all the time and presenting a budget. That's one of our primary responsibilities, is to ensure that we can address our taxpayers as to how those dollars are being spent. If we are unaware of how those dollars are being spent, or if there's potential fraud in the system, we're cheating the taxpayers of the monies that are directed towards the programs and towards the services that we want to ensure that our children are well educated, that our police are well funded, and that we can be secure in our homes and our communities. And so with that, I stand ready for any questions.
We do have a couple of people that have signed up to speak on the bill. First, we have Betsy Hobkirk. Okay, right, here we are. All right. Ma'am, if you would just have a seat right there, and she'll turn your mic on, and if you would just give us your name, and I believe. Did you go out of session? Oh, I'm sorry. We didn't. We are out of session. So anyway, if you would just state your name, and you have 3 minutes.
Thanks. Good morning. My name is Betsy Hopkirk. I live in Knoxville, in District 19. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here to oppose HB 1711, which would require schools to track and report student immigration status. I've been a Knox County Public School elementary teacher for 15 years, and I speak today in my personal capacity. I teach children ages 5 to 11. These are my people, and I need you to understand that what this bill would mean inside the classroom. Decades of research show that children cannot learn when they feel unsafe. That is why we are trained in trauma-informed teaching and social-emotional learning. This bill would introduce fear and distrust into our schools. It undermines the safety we work very hard to build. I remember a 4th grader named Liliana sharing her family's Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, traditions during an art lesson. The room was completely still. Students were completely engaged. But what happens when a child wonders whether sharing her story could put her family at risk? Children notice, and fear spreads across the learning environment. It affects students who witness classmates being singled out. It affects every teacher asked to collect information that conflicts with our duty to protect and educate. Knowing that possible outcomes could be exclusion from school, time in a detention center, deportation, or worse. Do you want schools to focus on positive student academic outcomes, or do you want schools to be an instrument of immigration enforcement? How would immigrant status data be collected in an educational system that's already overtaxed? It would divert resource away from our mission of educating children. Who would collect and monitor the immigrant status of every child? Front office staff, teachers, principals? Staff are already trying to keep up. Immigration law is complex. The immigration scenario for each child will look so different. There are about 185 different types of visas. And then what about student confidentiality? Instead of proposing bills like this, why not join efforts to develop pathways to citizenship that are clear, fair, enforceable, and bipartisan? That conversation belongs at the policy level, not in school classrooms. And the idea of having to collect this data If there was more,
If the sergeant at arms would escort the lady back there in the corner, snapping her fingers, escort her out, please. You can continue, ma'am.
if there was a more clear immigration, sorry, I lost my train of thought, pathway to citizenship, there wouldn't be a need to collect this data. I would encourage you to focus more on that than putting bills into place like this that are really going to put a lot of pressure and stress on schools. We're already overburdened.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Is there any questions for our guest? Seeing none, Ms. Hopkirk, appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Very much. Next, we have Dr. John, and I'll brutalize that name. Warkitten? Is that correct? Okay, all right. You have to pardon my East Tennessee. But Doctor, you, if you would, recognize yourself and state your name, and you have 3 minutes, sir.
Okay. Is my mic on? I guess it is. Okay. Good morning. Thanks to each representative on this subcommittee for your service, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Dr. John Warkentine. I live in Knox County in House District 18, which is represented by Ms. Elaine Davis, who I will meet with this afternoon. As you know, Ms. Davis introduced House Bill 1711, which is now before this subcommittee. Just briefly, to save time, your time in particular, I will just say that my background as a physician, first in family medicine and a second residency in preventive medicine and a master's in public health. I provided healthcare services for migrant farm workers in North Carolina in the most rural area down east. I've worked in public health for 30 years. I was with Metro Public Health Department for 5 years, working with communicable disease, and I was the state tuberculosis control officer with Tennessee Department of Health for over 16 years. My first office with TDH was in this building at the other end of the hall. I'm speaking to you now as a concerned citizen, as a physician, and as a public health professional. I do not represent any organization or advocacy group. There are three main requirements of House Bill 1711 listed in the bill's summary, and I've not had access to the amendment that appears on the Tennessee General Assembly website. Rather than go through each of these requirements in detail, let me share my observations about them. House Bill 1711 is full of new reporting requirements for data to be collected by various organizations under the direction of unspecified law enforcement agencies. Those agencies would compel entities that provide direct services to individuals to collect data on each encounter with a person in need. Data would be collected by persons with a criminal charge and a presumed violation of immigration law, but also undocumented persons without a criminal charge. The time necessary and cost of training of frontline staff to collect such data would be significant, as well as the administrative costs of such reporting of the data. And to what end would the data be used and by whom? How would this legislation make Tennessee a healthier, more productive, and safer state? The summary of House Bill 1711 does not provide specific answers to these important questions. In a healthcare setting, such data would be a clear violation of federal HIPAA law, that is, the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. Annually, persons employed in public health in Tennessee receive mandatory training about HIPAA. Sharing patient names, date of birth, address, and any medical information without a patient's written consent is considered a serious violation, and individual employees and their agencies can be sued for such violations. To collect and submit personal data regarding individuals is
Doctor, we're at the 3-minute mark. I'm sorry. We just permit 3 minutes on testifying, but we appreciate you being here. Are there anyone that have any questions for him? Seeing none, thank you. If you want to, you'd have to send it to our offices. You can email it to all of our offices if you want to. Thank you, sir. We will go back into session now, and Chair Lady Davis, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank those individuals for testifying. I appreciate that. Ms. Hopkirk was my daughter's art teacher, and she was a wonderful, and my other two boys, she was a wonderful teacher, and Knox County is glad to have her. But I do want to make clear that we have had some individuals that had concerns, especially with the some of the domestic assault associations. I've met with them. One of the things that we have put in this legislation to cover some of those issues that the doctor spoke to with regard to HIPAA is we've said this section does not require the reporting of names of individuals who are not lawfully present in the United States if the names are confidential under federal law. So we couldn't, in the legislation, we couldn't specify each individual instance. What we did was we put some broad language in there for those agencies to allow that specificity. So if there is conflict with regard to violation, maybe they'll lose their grant dollars or it comes into conflict with federal law, that they do not have to report those names. Hopefully that'll give some folks some clarification on that.
Okay. We do have Chairman Crawford. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I have two questions if you will allow us to go back and forth.
Yes, that will be fine.
Madam Sponsor, for healthcare providers, if an individual does not have the appropriate documentation on them at the time of service, what is the next step for the provider?
They have the ability to provide service. We are not disallowing anyone to provide any service, especially emergent services or just like I mentioned earlier with victim assault centers, if a victim comes in and needs that care, this bill does not allow for them to not treat that person or that individual in any way, shape, or form.
Thank you. Madam Sponsor, for organizations that treat abused children and women, they are currently not allowed to ask for citizenship papers because of the federal law. Is there a way for us to protect these providers?
Yes, thank you. And so under the legislation, when you look at under 4-1-431 under subsection C, it clearly states that if those names are confidential under federal law, that they do not have to report those names. And so we put that broad language in there so that each individual organization, they'll know the specifics of either their grant or whatever federal regulations they fall under. And so the legislation would be enormous if we tried to list every single specific instance. So we wanted to make sure that for those agencies and those groups that they knew specifically that they would be covered.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman Crawford. Thank you. Next on our list, we have Representative Chisholm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm speaking in this committee way more than I would like to, but I guess I got a couple questions. I want to thank you in advance for your
And if you all would like, you can go back and forth on this exchange. Okay.
Thank you so much. So I guess my first question is, how is unlawful presence defined in this legislation?
I'm sorry?
Unlawful presence.
Unlawful presence where? In our state, in our country?
In our state.
In our state? Well, if they are not a lawful citizen who has the required documentation to be allowed into our country, then they would be here illegally. And that's clearly defined in federal law.
Okay. So let me go here. So does this apply to faith-based organizations as well? Because, in our faith-based organizations, we're required to serve all individuals. So will this bill obligate them to work with the State Immigration Enforcement Division to track people?
Well, if you go back and look at the first part of the legislation, it says that they're supposed to communicate with local government entities. And I don't believe that our faith-based institutions are a local government entity.
Okay. So I'm asking a lot of inclusion questions. So would this bill affect federal education funding for that Tennessee receives from the federal government?
So in the back of the legislation, it talks about the plier veto, and that is really going to, some of those questions will be answered with regard to another piece of legislation with regard to education and kind of how that education bill comes through. If there are some qualifiers that they have, then with regard to public education, where there's federal monies involved, that will be, I know that there are talks with some of those federal agencies to determine how that language is being drafted currently.
So currently, we don't know if this affects our public school funding.
As our law is right now, no, it does not affect it. This piece of legislation that I'm presenting to you is asking for those schools to report that information if it does not impact federal dollars. If it does not impact federal law, then you report. If it does, you do not. It's just that simple. If federal law says you can't do it, you don't report. If federal law says you can, you can. And you have to adhere to it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Not really, but I keep going though. So what additional information will public K-12 schools and the higher education institution, what's the extra information that they will be asking for?
If they're here legally.
So we're doing the same thing when they go to a hospital with someone gets in a car accident, they go to a hospital and they're in dire straits. Do we ask them, are they immigrants before we serve them?
If it is a violation of the HIPAA rules, if it is a violation of some of that information and collecting that information, then no, they will not.
So we're willing to let people die instead of giving them the
you're not
service.
understanding me. That this reporting, whether or not you're treating an illegal immigrant, is different than actually providing a service. All this bill is a reporting bill. You're saying, yes, we've treated 12 illegal immigrants and 4,000 Tennesseans. It's a reporting bill. So all we're looking at is numbers.
Okay. So
that we can determine how our dollars are being spent.
Okay, and again, thank you all. So my fear here, this is my fear, that people would die after injury because they're afraid to go to our hospitals. And we don't want to create a state where people are afraid to get the services that our state provides for everyone because of immigration status, because at the end of the day, matter of fact, I think we need to get out of calling people immigrants and aliens. They're people. So we wouldn't allow people to die because the fear of being harassed because, of this thing. So
I think that's a very strong statement to say that our medical and professionals in our hospitals and in our emergent services would not treat individuals. That to me is something that violates their Hippocratic oath. And also, anyone that shows up in the hospital, they treat.
I want to say, if you all, I don't mind the exchange, but just don't talk over each other. And to the audience, I'm trying to be very lenient. I know this is an issue that it raises a lot of passion in people and all, but please, no more outbursts, no more snapping fingers, no more comment that I can hear up here. Okay? I'm trying to be very, very fair. All right.
Again, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chisholm.
And thank you, Representative Davis, for indulging me. So, as a nation of immigrants, we are a nation of immigrants. So, I find it a bit hypocritical when we put these things in place to actually start surveillance of people because they decide to get services that we claim that we give to everyone. And I don't think it's not a good thing. It's just not a good thing. And I ain't with that.
Well, we are also a nation of laws, and we have a social contract with each other. Part of that duty and responsibility is to make sure that we're not ripping each other off. And so if people are here taking advantage of services and dollars that we have specifically set aside for our citizens, for our communities, that to me is a violation of our laws. I appreciate what you're saying. I'm not at the federal level. I can't change the immigration laws. That's there in Washington that they need to concern themselves with that. What we can do though, is we can find out and collect and gather data to determine what and who we are serving and how those dollars are being spent and if they're being spent appropriately, because that is our fiduciary responsibility in serving.
Again, thank you so much. So we are a nation of laws. However, our laws have to be in favor of humanity. We talk about laws, and this is not necessarily on your bill, but as far as laws, slavery was legal. Jim Crow was legal. A lot of other things that were bad for humanity were legal. So we got to make sure that our laws are in line with what God tells us to do. Love everybody. Again, thank you for indulging me, and thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing me.
Chairman Crawford, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move previous question.
Previous question's been called. Any objection to the question? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, if you would, open the board for voting. Anyone wishing to change their vote? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, if you would, take the vote. Take the vote, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chair, you have 6 ayes, 2 noes, and 0 present not voting.
Your bill moves out to full. If the sergeant at arms would, please clear the room.
Take a brief recess while they clear the room.
We'll have a 2-minute recess. Department and agencies will reconvene in hearing room 4.